then you're listening for those themes, which is what we're doing here. So your theme is this very much, I am now going to be on my own. Typically what happens with a person like this is they are terrified of doing anything that's against the rules. So we're here saying, go Uber, go fuck around, go drink, go get high, go do whatever the hell you want, go to concerts, have ecstasy. Like, as your therapist, I am saying, girlfriend, go and do it. This is your opportunity before you get to that life of stability and marriage and kids and this, the like. You've got 4 years, and my recommendation to you is party your fucking ass off. However, what happens, yes, and it's the truth, and that's exactly what I would say to a client in this situation, in this age, and having experienced this. But there's fear. There's fear, especially if there's this idea that something's watching over me.
Is that why
There's
she's
fear.
watching the change instead of experiencing the
It
change?
could be, that's a very good observation, because she did say that.
I'm
exactly.
watching.
I like to watch the change.
Me too.
So
my mother's tonight.
she might like to live vicariously through another person, because that person will get in trouble, or that person can get away with it, but I can't. So slowly is what you're gonna do with this person. You're gonna take them very, very slowly into, oh, so you met some guy? Oh, so you know, got some,
That's what
oral
she-
sex? Great, excellent. Next thing, oh, so you went to the club? Okay, great. Oh, so you got drunk? Okay, great. And you slowly take them, and as a therapist, you build upon no one is watching, the sky is not falling, God is not disowning you, you didn't blow up because you did X, Y, Z, and then you bring them to the next level, and then to the next level, and to the next level. Because their idea of their prostitute archetype, of this bad, it's the same thing as Paula and her mother. Paula's bad, she's all bad, she's opposite. We have a student here who's the opposite of you. And her mother's like you, she's like the good. And you see this good versus evil. We all have good and we all have evil. We all have a dark side, a shadow side, and we all have a light side. So it's only when we start balancing, that's the yin yang, when we balance that, that we're living a healthy life. So it has to lead me to your religious beliefs. What are your religious beliefs?
I'm Christian.
Okay, and were you brought up extremely Christian?
Not extremely, but like pray every night before you go to bed, say grace before you eat, go to church every Saturday.
Were you guys guided to ask a question about religion? Did that come up?
I knew it, so I didn't ask.
Okay.
You're right.
So if you
No, she
hear
just
the
seemed
good evil,
guarded.
I'm giving you these themes because these are the themes that you're going to, there's only a certain number of themes. Your clients are going to fall into one of the themes that I give you.
I asked the religion question with James last time.
Okay, I don't remember what.
You asked me what my hypothesis was for it. It was because his, the condom issue.
Oh, okay. Okay, so perfect. So this oftentimes, this good versus evil, is oftentimes linked to religion. That is going to change with the millennials, although you're a millennial. That's going to change and get less and less effective as we get younger clients and this new generation of clients.
But one thing that never changes is that we need to take into account our clients' cultural background. So,
Right, their
which-
culture, their
yeah.
religion, all of
Yeah.
that.
Culture and religion, but mostly culture, because that's what values you were brought up to believe. And that dictates your behavior.
So do you have this belief that there's someone watching over you, either good or bad?
Yeah, honestly, God. But like,
Say it.
I'm not afraid of his judging. I'm afraid of my mom's judging.
Okay. What is
You mean
the
her.
judgment that God would do versus your mom?
Because I know that he forgives all. Like, my mother, death.
Say it. She wants to ask something so badly.
No, no.
No? Oh.
Did you hear what I said?
No, I
No,
didn't.
nobody heard my joke. What was it really a joke? When you said, I know he's watching, I said, you mean she?
She's very feminist.
Well, I don't know about very, but up there.
Just enough. So what do you do with this client who has her mother, not uncommon, beyond God?
Yeah, literally.
Her mother means more than God himself, and she's Christian. What is the intervention? You have got to make this client see that.
Do you believe that your mother knows what she's talking about when she tells you things to do?
Tells me things to do.
Yeah, or however she talks to you, speaks to you, do you think she knows what she's saying, or?
No, because, like, just an example, like, a proper type of bra. My mom was always like full coverage, no strap showing. But like this day and age, strap showing is cute.
It's super
And
cute.
it's like lace and that's the style. And she's like, you look like a hoe. And I'm like,
Not even. First of all, she buys her 36C bras. And her mother sees nothing wrong with it.
Is that not your size?
No. Not at all.
so then I look more flat chested than I really am.
She
but
wants
then,
it
like,
like all the
I
way
met
up here,
her.
a full, like, it,
And then I met her and I was like, this is wrong? Really? There's other stuff? Like opened up a new world to me and I was like, my mother's been teaching me a lot of things and it's wrong about the woman's
but
body.
to answer your question.
So there's a trust issue,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, most
obviously.
definitely.
When you go
You
to
don't
college,
trust her.
I just want to say, just try to find a balance. Like, I understand how you were saying, like, yeah, go out and like experience college.
Oh, but
to
she's
learn.
not going to.
No, I know, but there's gonna be a,
She will.
oh man, I've seen it. There's gonna be a tipping point. She's gonna meet that one that's gonna break all fucking chains, right? Whether it be a
I
male,
hope so.
be a male, female. Are you going to
I
college with
hope
her?
so.
I'm moving up
Oh,
there.
okay,
That's
so-
like, that's it.
So like when that happens, then that extreme tipping board can really like full tilt so fast.
Okay, so you prep your client, first of all. You're obviously speaking from experience.
From what I've seen, yeah, like I've seen rabbit holes just go so deep with some people that
Okay,
they
well-
were so guarded and so protected when they were growing up, similar to your story.
My neighbor.
And then all of a sudden they just go from 0 to 100, and that can really backfire, like super
Right, so that's where,
backfire.
where
Okay,
you educate your
so
client.
you've got this person who's here and is going to stay in this safety zone because it's safe. And then you're absolutely right. If they're over here at 0, there is a likelihood you're gonna work with your client to avoid that happening. That's your job. You're the parent walking, that's alongside her, helping her. To undo, that's the therapist's role. You're here to undo all the wrong that her mother has taught her. Okay? No, but that's the therapist's role. If I'm a good therapist, I'm gonna help you with that. In a loving, validating, encouraging way.
In 18
Because
years.
if every
that's
single-
gonna be for the next for the rest of your life.
If every single person, place, thing, or situation represents mom or dad, your therapist represents your mom or your dad. And so, the point of the therapist, and that's why you build the rapport, is so that client is like, oh, I can divorce and slowly detach from the parent that was unhealthy, or both parents, and slowly interject and teach the new way to do things. What happens, unfortunately, what I'm trying to avoid happening with you guys, is that a lot of therapists suck, and they do more harm, okay? And that unfortunately is true in this field. So it's very, very important, that's why we do these clinicals. So, you're absolutely right. But what is something that you're not keeping in mind with somebody that has the good versus evil mentality?
She won't do it unless she has the validation.
Well, that's part of it. The other thing is that that person, when they
The permission.
they are so afraid, they are so afraid of even going this much, because this much is gonna turn into this. They don't trust themselves to make average, balanced, middle of the way choices. So part of it is so much fear that if I do this much, oh shit, it's gonna turn into this. Trust me, I have this pattern. I know this one very, very well. So they stay on the safety. They stay there because they know that they have the potential of going 0 to 100. So if you have seen that and that's been a lived experience and you want to share that with a client, you can. But you can't leave them there. You can't leave them saying, oh, well, you're going to meet that guy or girl who's going to do that to you. You're going to screw with them. You have to let them know and bring them back to the middle that that's not going to necessarily happen to them. If it does happen, it's part of finding the balance, and you educate them as to that. But usually, they stay safe. Because this is 18 years of someone's watching. Okay?
See, with growth, with age, with experience, with learning, it doesn't mean that you're never gonna be the person you are today, 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. We all have to evolve. If we don't, that's where the issues happen.
So who doesn't she trust?
Herself and her choices.
She does not trust herself in her choices. She has not been given permission to make a mistake, to see if she can figure it out on her own. She's never been given that chance. And as excited as she is to leave, she's scared out of her fucking mind. Go ahead.
My dad has given me that option. And
Okay.
on my 16th birthday, he told me, I see the mistakes you're about to make, and one of the hardest things is letting you make them to learn.
And that's why your dad
That's why
stayed
my
back.
dad-
That's why you
So
stayed
like
back,
that.
because the dad is saying she has to make her own mistakes so that she can learn. So at least you have 50% of you that's in check. I would use that as a therapist. If you shared that with me, I would say, then you've got it set, you've got it made. That's why you're never gonna fall. That's why you're always gonna have a safe landing. Because you've got your mom who's a little psychotic, and she's the 0 to 100. But lucky you that you have your dad that's the middle of the way. That means that you have both mom and dad in you.
And you can use.
And what I, as a therapist, would try to help you is to become more like your dad and show you. That's why I would applaud a little fling. I would applaud a little getting high. I would applaud going out. I would applaud those things, because then you're being shown, so Anna, how'd that feel? That would be our conversation. How did it feel? Did you see, the sky didn't fall, God didn't come down and torch you. How did you feel with the decision that you made? Now let's say you had a one-night stand and it felt bad. Okay, well now this felt bad. Now you know that that's a rule, that you don't really like that. I have a client, she's a young girl, 20-something, and she was very, very afraid to have sex. Like terrified. But yet very sexual. It oozed out of her. She was dying to have sex, but terrified. She had this same sort of pattern. And she was afraid, and one of the things that we talked about was the fear that once she had sex, that she was gonna want it, uncontrollably, and that's part of, let me stay on the safe side. So we worked on that, and what we did was, before she engaged in sex, we wrote rules. And so she decided she didn't want to have one-night stands. She decided that she wanted to go on a certain, I don't remember what the rules were, a certain number of dates before she went out with the guy. I think that she wanted the guy to pay, you know, when they went out as a condition for her to have sex with him. She sat and wrote the rules around what she felt comfortable with. So she had a boundary. She already had a parameter. Then this person met the criteria. She met her own criteria, and then she could move forward. And that's how we worked. And it helped, because now she wasn't going into it blindly. And that's what I would work with you is, okay, so how did this feel? Check in with it. Did it seem like that was going 200, you know, from 0 to 100, too fast, too furious? Okay, let's draw it back. Let's write rules around it. And that is how we would navigate this middle of the way. But the reason that you said safety and falling is because you have your dad in you. And your dad provides that safety for you. You're not going to go like whorehouse crazy because dad lives in you. Does that make sense? And so you tell the client, or you explain this to the client, and you show them they already have the middle of the road in them. So yes, you educate them to the other side, especially if you have the experience, but you demonstrate how they're not going to go to that extreme. And if they go to that extreme, they are so in tune with themselves. Because we have to build trust in herself. She has to learn to trust herself, because she has never been able to do something to figure it out if she trusts herself or not, if she makes good decisions or not. She doesn't have any prior experience. It's like, what the hell? How is she supposed to know? And so this is how you work with a client like this, because you start, okay, this was a little too much, this was a little too little, what would you have liked to see happen? What did that feel like? And you work with them to start trusting their own decisions, because that's the main thing with you, is really trusting your own. Because she might teach you something that doesn't feel right to you either. You know, you eventually have to confide in yourself and trust self. And as an Aries, you'll definitely get there. It's time?
Yep.
Already?
Mm-hmm.
I have so much more to say.
Thursday, we'll be back.
Okay, Thursday, James, are you coming Thursday? On time, 9 to 3. Okay.
And it's $25.
On the time, so 1, 2, you can sign.